Hey, this is Lorena, and I wanted to do a video on some of this month's favorites. I don't like doing these that often, but if I find stuff that I'm like really liking, I wanted to share it with you. So I don't know how many I have, but let's do this. Favorites it is today. Favorites. All right, favorite number one is these water bottles. These little spray bottles I found, or a quilt store had them, but you could buy them at Sally's for like a couple dollars. And it's neat because it's just like a long spray. Let me iron that. Hairdressers use them. I got these. I got this one at a quilt store. Sometimes they rack these up at quilt stores for like $17, $18. At the quilt store that I got this from, they were fair. This cost me $10, this big bottle, and this small bottle at Sally Hansen's beauty supply store cost me a couple dollars. I don't know specifically how much it was, but yeah, you can also get these at Amazon. Of course, you could get a basic water bottle, like one sprayer water bottle. The thing about these, it's a long misty spray. It's a long spray, so in one spray you get a lot of spray. I love these for long limb quilting, especially when I'm wanting a lot of water to be, sprayed on the quilt. So this is the spraying of one. It just kind of like does a general splatter. So you can see it generally sprays like a big giant glob right there, and it concentrates in one certain area and then it mists. So I'll show you what a mister does. It does misting throughout the quilt, and you can kind of like wet the whole thing if that makes sense. And so when initially you mist it, like here it's kind of dry, it doesn't do a big blotch of water instead of, do you know what I mean? Love. I really like these blocks. Another product that I love is these pencils. This was from a subscriber who let me know about these. These are to mark on dark fabric, and I was trying them to see if it really works. The marking comes off by heat setting it with an iron, and these really do work. I tested them on some fabric on a quilt to see if the marking came off. Also too, if you don't want to use heat set, you can kind of scratch it off or rub it off, but heat setting is how they say this comes off. So yeah. So this is what it looks like. It's handy iron off pencil. It does mark really well. You also can see, like I marked in several different areas. It's really smooth. I think I can sharpen this to make it a bit more finer if I needed to. Get the hot iron to remove all this. You do need the iron pretty hot to get this to work, and it just kind of disappears. In areas where you marked more, you're gonna just have to spend more time with it. So you get 4 in a package. You can rub it off to where a lot of it just kind of disappears. I got a bunch of these. I adore these. Another favorite are these really neat, they're called scissor minders. They're called needle minders, and when it comes with the magnet in the back, the magnet is really strong. I don't know about you, when you're working, I lose my scissors under the mess that I create. Get your scissors, your favorite scissors, hook your scissor to this hook. You can also hook these to the tail end of your nippers, and your nippers will still work. Always your scissors on you. Now be careful, because you can break this off, but hey, I just thought this was a genius idea. I really do like this, especially when I'm working. I know where my scissors are, because girl loses them. But let me just share with you that these are sincerely my favorite. This little sheep, this little one. These are just magnets. The magnet is bigger. See the magnet difference? This is just adorable. I love sheep. We wonder why. And what I love about this, the other day I was wearing something and I had this on me, and you could just literally have your scissors on you all the time. And when you're done working, you could just take it off and it looks like a little sheep pendant. Who would have thought that I have a magnet there? I love, honestly, this one is my favorite. Magnetic needle nannies. They're for your needles, but they work with your scissors. Let's see if they, yeah, look at that. They hold your needles real well. Another one of my favorites are these. A friend, Lana, she had a couple of these and I asked her where she got these. She got these at Joann's, but you have to purchase these online. I will see if I could possibly put the link somewhere because I had a hard time finding them online. But these are for your strips, I'm not much of a plastic bin person anymore like I used to be because I had them everywhere. So I've kind of tried to manage that. But I thought having a couple of these for your jelly rolls when you're working on a project, they really keep your jelly roll strips straight and yeah, organized. So let me show you how you could use them. So you could just kind of like lay it nice and flat and straight, and you know that your strips aren't going to be a mess. These little feet things on there, and it pushes the fabric nice and taut, and it doesn't allow your fabrics or your strips to move other than fold up, set up for me. So that's what this looks like. It just makes a beautiful presentation of fabric. Another one of my favorites, and I did a video on these, it's these ironing boards. I love these ironing boards. I love using them. I love how I could store them and they get put away really easily. They don't take a lot of space. If you don't want it to be seen, it could tuck behind a table. I have a video and I'll link it up here if you want to learn how to make one. They look very sleek and organized. All right, one of my other items that is my favorite, and it saved my rear when it came to the Quilt Guild gathering. It's trying to get everybody to sew the same seam. It's really difficult, even doing the block swap, to get all of us to sew the same seam. And even on my Juki 210Q and my Juki TL 180, whatever, the new one I got, I thought I was sewing a 1/4 inch seam, but based on this, my 1/4 inch seam was off 1/8. The Singer seam gauge measure. When I've been doing the block swap, we've been having some issues with having the right seam allowance, and even myself, I thought I knew where my seam allowance was, but apparently I don't. And when I did the guild group, I had to make sure that everyone had the exact same seam gauge. So this is a 1/4 and this is an 1/8. It also came with another piece of plastic that you could tape to your machine. I love this little seam gauge, so I'm going to show you how it works. The needle down on the 1/4, and you can see that yes, my machine has a grid, but really it's off 1/8. I don't know if you can see that. So this is really bigger than a 1/4 of a seam. So when I was sewing, though I was following this guideline, thinking that that's my 1/4, it's a bit bigger, and that's why my block was shrinking. You lose 1/8 of a seam based on 3 seams. You can lose up to a 1/2 inch on a block, or a 1/4 inch on a block. But you can do something different. You can use painter's tape here, or you could use kind of like duct tape, electrical tape or duct tape, it doesn't matter, just having a straight wall. And then you know that your machine, this is where you line up your fabric to get your 4 seam. I do appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.